we've talked about retirement plans before. What exactly goes into a retirement plan, and what is like a client getting with the retirement plan?
Yeah. Okay. So a retirement plan is obviously specifically designed to try to figure out what's going to happen in retirement. Now, you could be already retired and still be looking at a retirement plan, or you could be, looking forward to retirement. So really, it applies to any age. So that's important to consider. You can be 20 or 80, and it still works. And what you're trying to do there in this retirement plan, I look at it kind of simply in the sense that you've got these potential or actual outside income sources coming in. It could be rents, it could be social security, it could be pensions, those types of things. So that's coming in. Visually, I look at that like coming into the top. And then we have this asset base, right? What do we have invested in 401ks and IRAs and trust accounts and different types of investments, et cetera. And then we have kind of what we're pulling out the bottom, which is what we're living off of, right? Our basic living expenses, our medical expenses, our got to purchase a car, dental expenses, whatever it might be that's in there, and travel and different things that you want to do. And so the object of doing a retirement plan is to see if what you have, either as a goal, if you're not retired yet, or as an actual situation, if you are retired now, is it in balance? Is that inflow, asset, and outflow in balance? And the way we tell that is through Monte Carlo simulation. So we run, the plan, push the button, we get this Monte Carlo simulation that tells us, what's the probability of success? So how many times out of 1,000 runs through your life did you run out of money? So in our opinion, 85% or higher if you're in retirement is definitely where you kind of want to be to make sure you don't run out of money. And then of course, that aspect of it is the beginning of a retirement plan. There's tax planning that goes into there, taking a look at how we can minimize taxation, what would happen with the required minimum distributions, what might you do with a Roth conversions fit in that portion, how do you maximize Social Security as part of a retirement plan. Even if you're not taking it yet, it's very useful to know when you might be taking it as soon as possible so that you can kind of orient your portfolio around a strategy to try to make that work. So anyway, those are the issues that I think are probably most prevalent in a retirement plan, and what you get out of that.
Yeah, and going off of that, like, how often do you need to update this kind of plan? Like, can I just make one and like not worry about it for 5, 10 years?
Yeah, yeah. I'd say most of the plans that I've ever seen done are basically door stops, right? I mean, somebody had a plan done at one point. I'd say within 6 to 24 months, it's not really that useful anymore. Nobody looks at it. What we do and what's possible now is really what's called a live retirement plan. So we link in all the assets either that they have with us or even from outside, and it keeps all of the assets live. And then every 6 months, you want to go in and take a look in our strategy session at what's changed in your outflows, anything's changed on your inflows, and that kind of stuff. And then basically run the Monte Carlo simulation. And then we also do stress testing. What happens in a high inflationary environment to your portfolio, what happens in a big downturn, what happens in a long-term care situation. And so what we're trying to do is figure out how robust is your retirement plan. Again, whether you're retired or not, those are things that you need to kind of focus on. So yeah, every 6 months would be my outlook. The other part of this that's very interesting to me is that my wealthy clients have one criteria, or one similar characteristic, in that they worry about having enough money, and that's how they accumulated the money. They, for their whole life, they've worried about making sure they have enough money, and so they save and save and save, and that doesn't change. No matter how much money they end up with, they still have that concern. So one of the things that I think is really great about doing the plan, every 6 months, looking at the Monte Carlo simulation, doing the stress testing, is it just there's a little bit of relief. Okay, good. At least for now, it looks pretty good. But even more importantly, it's a future look, right? So if all of a sudden somebody's plan shifts back to 75% or 70% or something probability of success, we have some time to maybe make some adjustments. 5, 10 years maybe even to make some adjustments to their portfolios, their inflows, their outflows, whatever we have to do to kind of make it work so they can get back to that kind of 85% or higher. And they love that, right? Because it's part of that worry cycle is to make sure that they have enough money. And this is a good way of figuring that out. So, yeah, I think that's a really, really important component. It's the big difference. A lot of times somebody does a plan to get the situation started, right? So an advisor would you come in, you see, do the plan and to get all this thing going, and boom, you never see the plan again. All you're doing is talking about the assets and different things. Honestly, without the plan, I don't think we can do the good work. We can't do the tax planning properly, and we can't really tell in advance if you're going to run out of money without the plan being live and ready to go. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, you talked about this 85% probability of success. You know, is that like a benchmark that we should hit like throughout our life or like different stages of life, or is it only, we only need to be there at retirement and in retirement?
Yeah, when you it kind of depends. I would say in retirement is more important, um, but it still needs to be there. If I retire at 40 or if I retire at 70, it should still be at that retirement point at 85 or above as much as possible, right? So I still think once you're in retirement, it's way harder to keep it at 85 if you retire at 40, just because of the number of years that you might be living off the money, right? But prior to retirement, we often see, especially for younger people, somebody who's 40 who wants to retire at 65. We'll often see plans that don't quite work out, so it's at 60% or 70% or something like that. And those tend to kind of mature over time. They save the money, they get it going. Hopefully, we can get a good rate of return. And again, we'd like to see it get to 85 by retirement, but I think you could be under that prior to retirement, especially if you're far enough away to be able to continually push, that forward. And that's the big advantage, again, even for that group, of looking at it every 6 months. This is where I am, this is where I'm trying to get to, and you can see improvement or not, and all these things that happen. So it makes some guidance. Or I guess another way to look at it is we could make adjustments. Maybe we work a few more years, maybe we spend a little bit less money, maybe we save a little bit more money, that type of thing. Maybe we cash out the house and move to a different state with a lower cost and pull money out of home that way, or whatever it might be. There's lots of options.